What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Danny the Bull here with Ern, a good friend or an online friend. First time meeting you in person and talking to you in real life. So I want to welcome you to the channel and for agreeing to come on. Ern does some TA and likes a lot of the same micro caps that I like, and actually introduced me to a couple of them over in Ron's Telegram group. So welcome to the channel, Ern. Thanks for coming on.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and sorry everyone, you see two screens up top. My Mac isn't working. I'm on my phone, so I don't know what the quality of this is going to be, but for some reason my Mac isn't letting me access the camera. So it's a little, I'm a little off tonight, but it's all good. We'll make it work. So I guess first and foremost, Ern, do you want to give everyone a little background on who you are and your investment journey?
Yeah, sure. So I guess it all started. It all kind of started with Omi. That's kind of how I met Ron. It's kind of how I met John from John's Crypto Therapy, and then we kind of just started talking. And I think at the time I was starting my trading journey, so I was kind of trying to do it on my own. And I don't recommend that anybody starts trading at least successfully on their own, because you're going to encounter a lot of setbacks. And a lot of times you could be doing things right, but perhaps you might fail a few times and you fall on your ass. And you really need a mentor to kind of tell you, okay, you're doing everything right, keep going, and just kind of guide you through that whole obstacle of trading and risk management and all that. And that's where I joined John's group. I think probably over 2 years ago now. And he kind of took us, took a small group of traders, and we all kind of just became friends. We started to learn together and kind of bounce ideas off each other. And I think that's where I met Ron. So Ron was in John's group, and can't say enough good things about both those guys. John really kind of gives you the attention that you need to get you to that level of where you can actually be confident in trading, and kind of allows you to see candlesticks and price action, and where price could get to, where it could reverse, and it gives you that confidence you need to kind of keep going and on your own. So we kind of did that for about over a year actually, and then we just kind of became friends, like myself and Ron and a few other guys. And then we just stayed in touch, and here we are. Through one bull cycle, now we're trying to enter another one here, and we just figured let's get together and try to make sure that we can all make it, right. I've been doing a lot of TA. I've noticed a lot of similarities with. I'm primarily a currency trader, index trader, but I'm noticing nowadays a lot of similarities with a lot of these high market cap cryptos. And I've been providing a lot of the TA here on Ron's Crypto Therapy channel because I'm seeing a lot of similarities, a lot of volume. There's a lot of new money coming in. You're starting to see those stop hunts on, like we see on Bitcoin and Ethereum. You're starting to see them on a lot of other altcoins. So they're becoming more familiar to traditional technical analysis that you would see in some of these other bigger markets like currencies and stocks and all that. So so far it's been going pretty good. There's a lot of things happening in the space. It seems like every day there's a new project, or let's just say a handful of new projects, and you got to try to stay focused here. But that's kind of my journey. So it's so far so good.
Yeah. So would you consider yourself more of a trader than a hodler?
It depends. Like I would say there are certain projects you want to trade, and there's certain projects you want to hold. So if it's a strong project, like I've got a handful of projects that I believe will be big in the next coming bull market. So for those, I'm really just looking at buying opportunities. So DCAing as I trade some of these other smaller cryptos. So I'll get the capital from those and start DCAing into these ones that I know will do well. Leaders in the space, leaders in the blockchain. So we're talking about big gaming ones like the Myriads, the GFALs, NACAs, the playables, OTKs. So each one of those is a leader in its space, right? So, you got Myriad and ETH, GFL and the Binance Smart Chain, NACA and the Matic, playable and the AVAX, and OTK and Solana. So those are the ones that I think will do really well. And those are the best, in my opinion, at least, in their respective blockchains. So those are the ones I'm holding. I'm DCAing, as well as a couple other ones. Like, you got MK on the Ethereum as well. And there's probably a few other ones too, but really those are the big ones that you're DCAing, not really trading those too much. But you're trading all these other smaller all caps and a lot of the GGEM plays too, right? Like it's really interesting to see in Ron's cryptotherapy chat. We've got a lot of people that really like to do those GGEM plays, and they're great because you can really take $100 and turn it into $500 and get out and start DCAing into these other big projects that are going to 50 to 100x at some point. So
sorry, I kind of rugged there. Do you hear me okay?
Yeah, we got you.
I'm sorry for the tech difficulties, guys, but yeah, I wanted to talk about some of the things that you're interested in, some of the points. I was over in the Telegram and someone mentioned TET, and you had done a one pager on it, and that really piqued my interest. And TET is kind of like something that's right up my alley. I love a layer one narrative. I love like the Bitcoin scaling narrative for this cycle, particularly with like the ETF front and center. And so what are your thoughts on TET? Is that something that you're holding?
Absolutely. I think that's a stronghold. And I mentioned that, I think it was, I don't know, maybe a few weeks ago, maybe longer than that, actually. I've actually been into it for about a couple of months now. It plays in that whole narrative. At some point, I mean, we all know this, that this ETF is going to be approved. When that happens, that Bitcoin network is going to be congested. So these scaling solutions are going to be the solution for Bitcoin, right? Like when you have the entire world now, a big unlock of capital just flowing into the system. What is the solution? Scaling solutions, right? It's going to be I think it's going to be a big narrative. I think Tectum is going to be a big one. Like it's pretty amazing. It's unique. The soft node system, to be able to mint a soft node, fill it with liquidity, and be able to send it on the fastest blockchain. I think what 0.3 million transactions per second. Like that doesn't even, nothing touches it. So it's a huge narrative. Even if that in itself is huge, let alone the privacy feature. You can send that and be completely anonymous. And that's another huge thing. And the other cool thing is you can print it. So you can actually print that soft node and physically deliver it. So I saw a big use case in that, for maybe some of these bigger transactions, or, instead of having a check, for example, now you can actually print a soft node and give it to that person, and they can go ahead and cash it anonymously. So it's pretty cool. I saw that one as a big buy and hold for me in the beginning. And, I think we've been DCAing here with the community. The next one is the mint layer. Mint layer is another good one. Neon's another good one, and you got the whole ZK sync on Ethereum, the layer 2. So all these scaling solutions, I think will, I honestly, Tectum actually, I think it just, I know it just, it's definitely gone up quite a bit. It's gone up a little bit earlier than I figured. I thought we were going to do this a little bit closer to the ETF approval, but I think, they just announced that they've partnered up with Ator.
Yeah.
So maybe that was the big cause of the bump. I think it's bullish for Tectum. There's more, obviously more node operators that are coming on board, and the price per node right now I think is a lot more expensive. The last time I checked, it was about $40,000 before the pump. So I haven't checked it now, but I think it's a lot higher. So it's definitely bullish. I think Tectum's gonna do really well. Strong hold. It makes it one of my top 10, I guess, for holding through to the entire bull cycle. So.
Yeah. So what are some others of your top 10s that you wanted to talk about? I know you got a few good ones, some that I haven't even looked at yet. So I'm excited to hear about them.
Yeah. So Tectum, I think Neon's another one. Mint layers is one that I'm looking into. it's I'm not going to say it's a degen play to Tectum, but it's definitely a lower market play on Tectum. So that one I'm also holding. I think we've already talked about the gaming sector, right? The Myriad, GFL, NACA, Playable, OTK. Those are the leaders in their respective blockchain. So those are definitely strongholds for me. MCADE, and then you get to your AI sector. So the AI sector is another strong one. Core AI, I think we kind of mentioned that in the group a while ago. Tau is going to do really well. I know it's one of the bigger market cap plays in the AI sector, but I think that's going to do really well. The low market play, and something we called in our group a while ago, was AGI Delicium. That one was really, it's a low market play, and that one did really well. I think since we called it, and it really pumped. And I think that one's undervalued in my opinion. I think it's got ways to go. It kind of hits on a lot of narratives, AI, and including gaming. So that one, it's a sleeper. I think it's run up a little bit, but I think it's got ways to go. I think it's at a $25 million market cap. So depending on what you think a low market cap is, I think that's going to change, right? I mean, we used to think a $5 million market cap is low market cap, but as we get into this bull run market, I think that's just going to push up, because I think we're expecting, with this about a 2 to 4x more capital coming into the market in this new bull cycle. So everything's, we previously thought the all-time highs or market caps, we could see that 2 to 4x. So it's exciting time. The other one I really like, obviously Hello is a must-have. The other one I really like for me is Karate. That's a stronghold for me. I really found that it's kind of unique. It's engaging. It's a very interesting way to stake your tokens. And it's fun. Like, I've watched a few matches. It's up only gaming. So you could only win, you cannot lose. So there's no reason why you can't just go ahead and bet your entire bag.
How does that work? So
if you hold the Karate token, you go to their app, and you bet on fighters. So think of the UFC, right? It operates the same way. In my opinion, actually, I thought this one was super exciting. The rink is very different. So essentially, you're betting on a fighter who's going to win, and depending if your fighter wins, you make about 10 to 15% more on your tokens. Depending if you choose. If you lose, you just get your tokens back. So there's no risk. And the rules are very different. So if you guys are, I've been a fan of the UFC for many years now, and they've kind of taken that, and in my opinion, they made it more entertaining. Instead of having an octagon, they have this rink with angled walls. So you've seen last two events, guys actually using that to their advantage, just running up on these angled walls and kind of jumping off and doing these flying kicks. The other thing that's cool too is that it's more stand up. So once you get a guy on the ground, you can ground and pound him, but you've got 5 seconds before the ref says, okay, time to get up, right? So, it kind of takes away that, where back in the day, I think it's a little bit better now in the UFC, but it's more entertaining. So the stand up is obviously more entertaining because yes, we get the knockouts. So anyways, I recommend everybody kind of take a look at this because it's super exciting. I think, I've been holding this for about a couple months now. It's kind of ran up, but I think it's got ways to go. A lot of big names. There's a lot of big names at these matches, and all it takes is one influencer to say, this is it, guys. Like this is the future here. And I think that thing's going to pump even harder. So, and it's already got that. A lot of big names, like you had GSP calling the fights. You had a lot of ex-fighters in the stands. And like I said, it's you got their narrative, you have the right influence, and anything can happen, right?
So are you like a fight fan? You follow UFC and whatnot?
I have been. I haven't as recently, but in the past, like like Tim talking about 10 years ago, up until about a couple of years, I've been following it, and then I haven't been as recently in the last year probably, but I have been, yeah.
What's the market cap on Karate? About 12 million, I think.
You're looking up. Yeah, so it's pretty low. It's low enough that it's still a very strong buy, I think.
19,
What does it say?
19 million, sub 20
19.
million.
Okay. So I think
Yeah.
I got in it like when it was five or $6 million. But like I said, it's still like, I think this is going to do really well. It just needs one influencer to talk about it, to be a fan of it. And, once people realize how up only gambling, where you can't lose, and you can be a part of these events and be engaged, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that one's kind of interesting because it touches upon a couple of different sectors, right? The gambling sector, which should be a good narrative, and the entertainment sector, which I think we're also starting to see. We're starting to see all crypto infiltrate all these different things. We're going to see like social media. We're seeing entertainment. We see that with Hello, right? And Hello is one that I like because of that entertainment factor. It's got the potential to really go mainstream, especially with the names that are attached to it. Is that something that you're holding? Hello?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Like there's no project like Hello. When you think about it, in the last bull run, we had, Ordius, which is the what's it called, like the crypto music token, and that went to $1.5 billion in the last cycle. There's no reason why Hello cannot do the same. I mean, and we're talking about, like I said, 2 to 4x more capital coming into the space. I mean, Hello could hit, $3 to $4 billion, in my opinion, right? Like if Ordius went to $1.5 billion last cycle, who knows where Hello can go? And it's not just music, right? Hello is a full entertainment company, like, and they haven't even released their their main show yet. So it's exciting. Definitely, Hello is definitely a must-have for me. Yeah, that's definitely a must-have. Yeah.
Even at this price now that it's run up, I think it's at like $100 million market cap.
I think so, because like I said, we're still they still haven't released anything. Like I think we need to, like, it's funny with market caps, because like I said, we think that these are high market caps, and they sound high right now, but if you zoom out, even with price, if you zoom out, with, for example, when Bitcoin or some of these other ones, and we're all very worried about this up and down. You zoom out to 2017, it's just a line on the chart. It's not even relevant. And then you start to see all the volume and influx. So, sky's the limit for Hello. I think even at this market cap, it could still go to, conservatively, a couple billion, easy. A couple
That's
billion for
kind of like
Hello.
my price talk on it also is in that, in the billions. I can definitely see it. The narrative is there. It's got all the potential for exposure. And this whole space is built around narrative and exposure, and just, people retail then like FOMO's in with like a name brand recognition and whatnot. And I totally agree with, sometimes we get a little greedy to the downside where something runs up a bit and we don't want it anymore because now it's at like 100 million market cap. But when you zoom out, if it gets to a $2 billion market cap and it's a 20x from here, are you going to look back and wish that you had more of it, right? And so I am averaging up on some of these high conviction plays that I have.
Yeah, and that's definitely one of them. So it's a lower risk, it's a lower risk play, because it is, I think it's going to do very well in this market cap. Like, there's no question. As opposed to some, there's other ones where you're just kind of like, I'm not sure, but this is definitely one of them.
Yeah. What else are you interested in? You had mentioned something about Titan X.
Oh yeah, so I've been kind of keeping the community updated. Yeah, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Titan X. It's a really cool protocol. It's almost like the perfect machine, in my opinion. It's a fair launch, so which means there was no early investors.
No,
there was no ICO. Exactly. There's no big whales that hold large amount. It was just, day one, we open up, nobody holds anything. You can go ahead and virtual mine your own tokens. And I got into it, I think about 20 or 30 days after it launched. I wish I got in it earlier, but I got into it 20, 30 days after it launched, kind of hesitant. I wasn't sure, it kind of sounded too good to be true when I did the math. And I got to say, it's right now, it's actually turned into my biggest hold, like by probably 2 to 3x of everything else that I hold, just because of the mining and how lucrative it's been on not just the mining, but I think what people don't understand is that because you're early, every miner that you go ahead and start, you're almost making like 2 times more Titan X than what's actually showing on the website, because you're getting all these T rank bonuses, which is essentially a bonus of anybody else that starts a miner after you. You actually get whatever it is, X amount of tokens. So it's really cool. And I kind of initially I saw it as a way to kind of fund my crypto investing, I guess, for the next few months. If I can start a miner and kind of compound that, sell some of that Titan X for ETH, and buy into these other projects. But as I got into that project more and more, I think they're doing something really cool where they're really incentivizing like everybody to mine, stake, burn, and build on top of the Titan X protocol in a very creative way. And right now, it's pretty amazing that not a lot of people are talking about it, but it's the number 2 highest volume on Etherscan in all of crypto. Like that's pretty amazing. There's so many fundamentals on this project that it kind of, there's a lot of comparisons to Hex, and I think Hex back in the first bull cycle, I think it was, did like a 15,000x, and this project Titan X, mathematically, if you study the tokenomics of how much more difficult it becomes to mine as the days go by, is almost designed to do a 55,000x, which is crazy. But even if you did a fraction of that, that's a huge return. So, it's going to get more difficult to mine as the days go. Like it's already a lot harder to mine. But I think with the T rank bonuses, it doesn't really matter, because you're still making, for like, I think like a 20 or 30 day miner, you're still 2xing or 3xing your money, even though the price has gone down a lot. They have this really cool feature where they have a buy and burn. So this buy and burn smart contract continues to buy Titan X, I think at a rate of 3.3 ETH every 8 minutes off the Uniswap V3, and it just burns that Titan X. So it's just continuing to remove that liquidity from the market as people sell into it. So it kind of stabilizes the price. So you're in this hyperinflation stage right now, because you're just getting so many more tokens for the ETH that you put in there. And at some point I think in the near future, it's going to be very hyper deflationary. And I think that's where you're going to start to see a huge return. So it's one of the most interesting projects that I've ever seen. I think listening to a lot of the really smart developers and programmers, they have said this is probably the best protocol. Actually, not probably, this is the best protocol that they've ever seen. And that, just kind of gives you that confidence, is like, where can this really go? A lot of projects are building on top of it. I think the founder has come out and said that they're currently in talks and reviewing about 10 additional projects that are currently building on top of the Titan X token. So it's only going to be more scarce over time. And yeah, I'm excited about that one. Probably excited about that one more, and has taken a lot of my brain power to come up with modeling, I guess, and how many miners I'm going to start, how much profit I'm going to take, how much am I going to stake. I think the first staking payout that I ever had was like $6,000 worth of ETH. So
Wow.
Right then and there, like your money, everything I'd invested in it and more return on that first day. And that's every 8 days. Every 8 days, you get an ETH payout. And then every 28 days, every 90 days, every 369 days in perpetuity for staking your Titan X. So I think the next ETH payout is the next 8 day one will be here in a couple of days. And, based on what I've staked, that's $1,500 in ETH that I'll, gets directly paid you in ETH, which is pretty cool because you're not dumping the Titan X token. You know, you're taking ETH, which, you know, everybody can use, right, for projects. And then again, every 8 days after that. And so I think last week we had the 8-day and the 28-day paid in the same day, which is super cool. And that's where I got that $6,000 payout. So it's really cool. There's a lot more to it. Like there's a whole game theory aspect to it, but it's like gamifying making money, which is, you know, is super cool in itself. But I'm really excited about that one. I thought it was, like I said, I was very hesitant at first. So I just went in with a little bit. And then as I started to learn more about it, I started to go a little bit more. And then I think at this point, I probably have about 50 miners just working in the background. And it all started from, you know, like 3 ETH.
What does a miner cost?
0.2 ETH. So, but it goes up every day. So it goes up by, I think, 0.33% every day. So I think my first miners were like $350. And then I think I started like 10 miners, one or two miners to start. And then after that, I went with another 2. Anyways, those ended, I think those are like 15-day miners. So it didn't take much before to like 3 or 4 extra money. It's a little bit harder now. I think now it's, if you're trying to do that, you're probably like 20 to 30 days. So, you know, once I got that first payout, took a little bit of profit, went ahead and compounded that, started 12 miners or whatever it was, and just kept growing that. So I'm at the point now where I think I've compounded up to 50 miners, I think 51 or 52 miners. Damn. That are just going ahead and expiring here. End of January, I got a big chunk that are expiring. So now the question is, what do I do? Do I stake it? You go ahead and take advantage of those ETH payouts every 8 days, every 28 days, which will be like what? If I go ahead and stake that, it'd be about staking about 10 billion Titan X. And if you go to the little calculator there in the more section, Danny,
yeah,
you can see if you stake 10 billion Titan X, the next 8-day payout, I think you'll be making like 6,000 ETH or something, $6,000 worth of ETH. In the top corner it says more.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah, yep. Go to tools, and you go to the calculator, and you go to the staking at the top tab there. Yeah, where your mouse was, just a little bit higher, right there. Yeah, staking. Yep. Yeah, and you put in amount to stake. You know, put 10 billion in there. So, you know, I've got 35 miners expiring January 29th. If I put 10 billion, so you scroll down. Is that 10 billion? I think that's too many zeros.
Yeah, too many zeros. 1, 2, 3. Too many zeros, right?
Yeah. So there you go. So that's 10 billion tokens, which I plan to stake for, you know, go max staking. It doesn't matter because you're going to be making that money back for literally the first payday, right? So you can see the next 8-day will be $5,000 worth of ETH. The next 28-day, again, this is still building up. So once that's paid out, these pots continue to build up, and that 28-day will probably be like 15 grand, right? So, wow. You know, from staking 10 billion Titan X, which initially cost me 3 ETH, you're literally making like 10 times your money back, like in the first, 30 days or something like that, right? So anyways, it's this whole other world. I probably spent so much time thinking about this. You know, I'd be like at Christmas dinner and I'd see a Christmas card with X and I'd be like, Titan X, right? And like, what, should I stake? Should I remine? Should I take profits? Or there was so much brain power that went into coming up with a model that I think will work for me. And I initially ended up with a 1/3 model where with every Titan X miner that ends, I'll take a third profit, I'll stake a third, and then I'll go ahead and start, another miner with the other third, or 2 miners, depending on how much you get. So that's kind of what I settled on. It kind of covers you for both, all 3 scenarios. And anyways, there's lots happening in that ecosystem. I suggest that, so you guys take a look. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm in the Telegram group. Always I'll provide the updates as they come. But anyways, that's been one of my more exciting projects to this day, because you're just so engaged into it.
And it's pretty wild. There are so many avenues in this whole like asset class to to make money in, right?
Yeah.
Aside from just, you know, picking coins, there's like that whole staking thing, running nodes, whatever. Even like staking NFTs and whatnot. As you've gotten like more, you find yourself going deeper and deeper into this rabbit hole.
Yeah, I mean, when you find something that works, you know, like for example, Titan X, I've been kind of trying to maximize that one as much as I can, because I know that one's going to be giving that, you know, that passive income, I guess. So I can go ahead and double the bags of the other projects, right? Like, so I've been kind of more focused on that one in that I guess, you know, group of crypto, where it comes to staking or you know, generating income. This is kind of my number one play for that. But like I said, it's starting to turn into more than that. Like, I'm really considering just, well, I mean, staking for 3,500 days is definitely holding a bag. But again, you're not, you know, it doesn't mean that you're not going to be liquid anything before 3,500 days, because there are projects, like I think the first one being released right now is called Hyper, where you'll actually be able to burn your stake and become liquid again whenever you want, right? So even though, you know, it's like, oh, who's going to hold something for 10 years? You're not holding something for 10 years. That's just to be able to maximize the amount of Ethereum that you get. You can go ahead and get liquid with that, with other protocols that are coming online. But yeah, as far as when it comes to that, Danny, that's the one that I've been focusing on and strictly because I've seen that it is the most lucrative, in my opinion, you know, starting with, I think, three or four ETH, and to the point where we're actually making, you know, 10 ETH or in about a month, right? Yeah. I think the next month they're going to have the 28-day and the 90-day payout and a bunch of 8-day payouts. So, you know, it's going to be like a very big month there for the staking payout. So it's pretty cool.
So let's talk about some of your holds, your high conviction plays for this cycle. But you named Karate, you named Titan X, you named Hello. What are some of the other ones that you would say you think are, you know, your long holds for this cycle that you're going to accumulate?
Yeah, like I really like Caspa. That's you know, I know it's a high market cap, but again, it's one of those that I think is going to do really well. You know, obviously Injective is going to be one that I think will do very well. There's a few that I'm working on right now. You know, in the process of reviewing tokenomics and reviewing, you know, everything that we review when we put out these reports. I don't really want to share yet, because it's, you know, I want to make sure that we release that to our community first.
Yeah.
And you know, it kind of plays on the AI, on the GPU narrative as well. So that one's a really cool one that I'm working on right now, putting a report together with our team. You know, there's a whole BRC20 narrative again, scaling solution. I really like that one. You know, Ordinals was one that I still hold. Track is another one that I still hold. And then which one else? What other ones did we say?
We said Mint Layer.
Mint Layer was one of them. Neon is another one, and obviously, you know, Tectum. So really, you know, gaming, AI, and scaling solutions, I think, are going to be the biggest narratives in this coming bull run. So, you know, you want to try to hold the best projects in those narratives. And, you know, like I said, I named a few of them for the gaming sector. And then you have your AI sector. So you got your TAOs, you have your Delicium, right? AGI, Chlor AI. And I think, you know, the one that had a lot of buzz in our community is PAL AI. So that's one that's had a lot of attention in our community there. Yeah. So, I mean, those are the biggest ones in the three sectors that I think we're kind of excited about.
Yeah, I've heard a lot. I've done like a little surface level research on AGI. That one's gaming meets AI, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think that one's going to do really well. And it hasn't. I haven't checked the market cap on that one yet.
26 million.
In a while. Yeah. So it's still fairly low. It's still got some run up to do, and it's very well. I don't think it's very well known yet either. So it could. I think that one's. I think that one will do very well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's give me your top 3 gaming picks. And if you guys
Top 3.
if you guys in the chat have any coins that you want us to talk about or look at, drop them in the comments. Yeah, give me your top 3 gaming picks for this cycle.
So Miria, GFL, and Naka. Those are my top 3. Those are my top 3 must-haves for this gaming cycle.
Yeah, same on G. I hold all 3.
Yeah.
Why do you like each of them?
Well, I think they're the best. They're the best in the space, in my opinion. So, I try to invest in the best projects on the best blockchains because these will dump the least. If we get a correction, these will dump the least. There's a lot of strong ones, but if I had to pick 3, those are my best 3. Naka has the most development and innovation, in my opinion, in the space. A lot of sentiment, a lot of community, a lot of hype. So, these are the top 3 if I had to pick.
And Naka just seems to have, like, if you follow Naka on Twitter, every day or every other day, there's something going on there with their, be it tournaments. They have integration into Telegram. They just, partnered with something in Saudi Arabia where they're launching Naka in Saudi Arabia. So I really like Naka a lot. Even though it's at the market cap is swelled, but I think that one can get up there.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. So, I like it. I like it a lot. So it's definitely if I had to pick one of the 3, then I'd say Naka is probably my number 1. Like that would be the number 1. Number 2 would probably be Miria, and number 3 would be GFL.
Yeah, and the thing about it also is a lot of people are looking for the next Naka or wanting something, the cheaper Naka, but oftentimes the winners just keep on winning, and you just want to ride that boat. And it also, once you have like market confirmation where that like Naka is going to be a winner, it takes some of that risk off the table instead of having to gamble on super low caps.
Yeah, exactly. Right. You want to hit the best narratives, the leaders in the space. I mean, it's quite simple. You hold those 3, then you can be rest assured that your bags are going to make it, right? And then you can start to maybe take some higher risk on some of these other ones. Not a lot, but a lot. Obviously, you don't want to go in there and put thousands of dollars in some of these other ones, but a few hundred here and there, perfectly fine, right? But these are the top 3. If I had to say top 5, you got to throw in the best on each blockchain, right? So we've talked about the Miria on ETH, GFL on Binance, the Naka's on Matic, and you got to throw in playable games on the Avalanche network.
Yeah,
OTK is the best one on Solana, and again, like that's a sleeper because Solana is going to do. I think if I had to buy a coin right now, if I had a couple $1,000, I'd be throwing it into OTK because it's at a $13 million market cap on Solana networks. Solana is going to be a big narrative. Like we've seen that, we know that one, I think, could reach that comparison to the, to the Miria, GFL, and Nakas, if they can execute. So, we're at 13 million. We could easily get to 130 million and try to match the Naka. I mean, that's a 10x, right?
You think OTK? I've looked at OTK superficially. It didn't strike me as like a blue chip. Do you see it as a potential blue chipper?
I definitely like a potential blue chipper. Yes, I definitely see that running up. Yeah, it's hitting on that Solana narrative too, right? Like, Solana's going to do really well. I mean, it's done well, so it's going to bring everything with it. I mean, just that alone will add a couple X's. So I think it's going to do well. So it's top 5. Those are my top 5. And then if I had to throw a next one in there, I'd throw Medicaid in there as well, right, on the Ethereum network. So that's another low market cap that could do really well. I think will do really well as well. So.
Yeah, you're making me more bullish on OTK now. I got to do more research, man. Because I did buy it. I bought it based off of, like you said, it being on the Solana in the ecosystem and in that gaming narrative. And so I just swapped out some of my Sol because I was up big on Sol. Swapped out some of my Sol for OTK. Pretty cheap, we called this in the group. Someone called it, maybe it was Ron. Pretty low all the way down here. And we had this nice run up recently. I'm going to give it another look, a deeper dive, and I got to really figure out how long I'm going to hold it for. We got a question here from Season 3 OG. Yeah. Blur token, what do you think about that? You familiar?
I haven't really looked into it. No, I'm not familiar with Blur token. But there's a ton of projects out there, and
there are so
I always
many.
say, like, is it better than, so my question is it better than OTK? Like, I don't know Blur token, but what is it? Is it a gaming token? Is it better than OTK? Is it better than playable? A lot of the times I reached the conclusion that no, it's probably not. So
yeah. Sorry, yeah. NFT marketplace.
Yeah, no, sorry, I'm not familiar with Blur, so I can't really comment on that one.
How about WASDR? I think WASDR is like mobile gaming, right?
It's come up a few times. It's okay. Like it's I know a few people that hold it. I'm not holding it. Like I said, I prefer to kind of stick to the to the big ones, to the main ones, and try to dip into a few of these lower market cap ones that come up, but they're just more trades than long-term holds. So I'm not combing the market as actively as some of the guys in our DGen community or in our Telegram group. I kind of see something that I think will do really well, and I kind of treat a lot of these other projects as trades, and then kind of get in, get out, and start accumulating the profits into these other projects. But I mean, I don't have anything bad to say about WASDR. I think it's going to do well because it, like you said, it is in the gaming narrative. I think mobile gaming is going to be a big narrative too. So it's just, I'm just not as familiar with it as some of the other guys in our group.
Yeah, I have the same approach. I have my high conviction plays, and then I did hold WASDR for a little while, wrote it up, sold it, and put those profits into my high conviction, because you can't hold everything, right? There's so many. There are literally thousands of coins out there, and you can't catch them all. And so ultimately, you have to just build out your portfolio with things that you believe in, and accumulate as you go. How many tokens are you holding in your portfolio, in your HODL bag?
Oh, that's a good question. Cool things. I don't know how you guys keep track of your portfolios, but CoinMarketCap, I think, does a really good job of that, where you can go ahead and create a portfolio page and just start adding your projects in there, and you can break them up by gaming, AI, and you can kind of see a little bar or a pie graph on how how much you hold of each, and you can kind of say, okay, I've done really good on this one. Do I ever go ahead and rebalance my portfolio, maybe sell a little bit, put it into the ones that are down, and kind of just come up with a really cool strategy like that. At least get a really good visual. I'm probably holding. Let me just see here. I think about 35 coins. 35 coins. I've got a few that I've kind of just kept from the last bull market because I bought them. It's one of those that I'm kind of waiting for them to get up there, and actually a couple of them are really close. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Evergrow, another token that did really well in the last bull market. They haven't even released their utility yet. They're about to release their utility, which is going to be a wallet. It's going to be a crypto wallet that's going to be able to off ramp, on ramp, cross chain. So that one I think will do well. You know, I've got a little bag, well, a medium-sized bag from the last bull market, and I've been kind of stacking because I do believe in the team. So that's one that you know, takes up quite a bit of my degen play, I guess. I'm calling it that, but it's probably not right now. I think when they release that utility, any money that's generated from these exchanges on these wallets and these swaps or anything that's generated from that wallet is just going to go right back into the you know, the holders, right? So it's another really cool way. You know, you got to love DeFi, right?
Yeah. Speaking of last cycle, what's your take on OMI?
You know what? I don't hold. I hold a lot of collectibles. I used to hold OMI. I kind of got a little bit frustrated with it just because I was, you know, it's just changed. Tokenomics have changed. Like I always say, if I were to find OMI today, would I be an investor as much as I was in the past? Probably not. I'd probably still hold a little bit just for the sake of getting the you know, the collector points, but not to the extent like I was before. Like I think I had like 20 million OMI at some point, and then I just, you know, it's just been you kind of look at a project that's kind of had its previous bull cycle and be like, what have they done since? And I think they still have, like, I still think they're going to do really well, but I want to see that. Like, if that happens, I don't mind buying at a higher price. I don't mind at all. I just want to, you know, I got to see that, right? I got to look at the chart. Has it taken out its bull market low? Has it taken out its, so if I see that and I see that they're actually adding, you know, real utility to their token. You know, when I first started, I've been in OMI since I think January of 2021. So, you know, I was one of the first. I remember buying Todd Batman's when they were in the store. So yeah, I was that early. So you know, you used to be able to buy collectibles with OMI. I mean, that was, my opinion, that was the whole purpose of it. And when they stopped doing that, it was like, okay, well, you know, fair enough. You're still burning tokens. You're still, and that's all kind of changed. I think at some point I will get back into it because I do hold a lot of collectibles, and I think it will do well. But I got to see that. When I see that, then I'll go ahead and, you know, maybe buy my old bag back for about half the cost, right? So it wasn't a bad decision. I was kind of, you know, it was one of those emotional ties because that was one of the first things that got me into the space is a Comey and, you know, all the comics and collectibles that you have. And then it was really hard to actually let go of it. But, you know, at the end of the day, it was a good decision because it kind of allowed me to go ahead and leverage into these other projects, which have 10x'd, you know, 15x'd. So I can go ahead and say, okay, well, always, you know, got some traction here. Let's go ahead and buy back in for, you know, a lot less than when I sold, right? So I think it'll do well. I got to see it first, right?
Yeah. So so are you still bullish on the collectibles on that end of it? Do you still enjoy the experience on VV?
I do, yeah. So I'm not buying as much as I was before, but I still hold a lot of them. Like I still hold a lot of, my opinion, grails. Occasionally I'll go in there and try to make a few moves, sell a few, buy a few. But I do still. I mean, it's the first. Like I always think of the Todd Batman as not only the first BB NFT, but I think arguably probably the first licensed superhero on the blockchain. Period. Right? Like like owning the first wooden statue of a wooden action figure of Superman. Right? Like it's gonna always have that value. I think, and I think it goes for a lot of these projects. So it's a long-term hold for me. Like I think we'll look back maybe in 10 years, and I think those are going to be like, we're going to have a very different outlook on the NFT space, where you're going to have all this general adoption. I think the influx is going to be like, gaming is going to have a huge influx into the space. You're going to have a lot of normal people coming in, and all of a sudden their eyes, kind of like we did with OMI, right? Like with Vivi, we're going to come into the space, and then we're going to open our eyes to blockchain and all these other things in the space. And just like that, you're going to have people, they're going to be onboarding with gaming. Then they're going to look around and be like, well, this is really cool. What else is out there? Oh shit, there's comic collectibles. There's there's Batmans, there's Supermans, there's all this, and I think at that point we're going to see possibly another a VV bull run, right? But when is that going to be? Like, it's going to take a while to onboard these people once we get the gaming community coming in, and then maybe a while to get used to it, and then kind of start opening their eyes to what else is available in the space. And I think it'll do well then.
Yeah. A couple more. I know you got to run in like 10 minutes or so, but a couple more questions here I wanted to get to. Marcus asks, any main picks for RWA, real world asset narrative? He's got some.
Yeah, I mean,
Rio.
Yeah, I mean, the Rio is obviously, I think the big one in the space. I really like Block BST. And then I think LEOX was the other one that we had looked into. So, as far as real world assets, I think those are pretty cool. Those are the three that I have. I think I currently hold Rio, and I hold a BST, so Block Square token. So those are the two that I hold, and I think I'm looking into LEOX right now, LEOX. So I think that one was looking pretty cool as well.
Let me pull up LEOX. I've seen LEOX, but I haven't looked at it. What's the market cap here? About 12 million, so it's less than Rio. Yeah, it looks like it's still at a good value in terms of it's been consolidating here after a little run up. I like Mint Layer also. Mint Layer has that tokenization ecosystem, which is also what drew me to Mint Layer on top of the Bitcoin narrative.
Yeah, exactly. Like, a lot of these kind of fit into two narratives, right? I mean, those are the best ones because you're kind of covered with both, right? If RWA does good, if scaling solutions do good, then kind of Mint Layer kind of it's hitting a bit of both. So. If you can find some, like, AGI, like we said, right, hits that AI gaming narrative. Those are the ones that I think will do really well as well.
We got Jordan Riz in the house, Pavle in the house. So how do you, in terms of like touching different sectors, are you heavily concentrated in one sector in particular, or are you pretty spread out?
It's pretty spread out. I think I'm kind of heavier into the gaming, AI, and scaling solutions. I do have those entertainment, the proof of work, like the Caspas, the injectives. I like those as well because I think those, obviously Solana is another one. It's probably I used to have I think I bought Solana when it was just below $20, and then I sold it when it was between the 80 to 90 range, thinking it was going to be a pullback. And I think we're getting that pullback right now. So I'll probably look to add a little bit more or buy back into it. The proof of work. The other thing too, I'm not sure how well it's going to do, but is the GPU. So the Dynex is pretty much just tokenizing the GPU power of the network, I guess. So that one I'm kind of looking into. I'm not as familiar with it. Dynex, I think a cash network is the other one that kind of touches on that narrative. It's an interesting, because I think blockchain kind of allows you the ability to, for the first time, you're not just investing in companies, but you're investing into the technology itself.
Yeah,
which is super cool, right?
I was talking to Kyle Wilson last month, and he said the same thing, and it's really good points. Like, it's like investing in the internet. You know what I mean? Like, but in the technology.
Yeah.
No, not in.
And you're a part of it.
You're investing in a protocol.
Yeah, and you're not only investing in it, you're a part of it. So your involvement, has a direct relation to how well it's going to do. Like, are you going to go ahead and open nodes up? Are you going to go ahead and stake it and produce? So there's so many aspects to it that, you can go down these different rabbit holes of where you want to be. And they'll probably all do well. Some will do better than others, but I think we're seeing that. Like, it's really cool. It's a decentralization. Like, like you said, you're investing in technology, which is you haven't been able to do in the past, right?
Yeah. Do you have any price thoughts on Solana and Caspa this cycle?
Oh, it's hard to say on Caspa. I think Solana is going to do that. we're probably going to see, depends how well, I think we're going to see about the $500 range for Solana. I think I could easily do that. And I think I'm being conservative there. I mean, it's, right now it's the runner up to Ethereum, right? Like, it's eclipsed, not eclipsed, but it's beat Ethereum for a volume, I think the last week or something. So I don't know if chain has ever done that before. Obviously, besides Bitcoin. So that one's going to be a really interesting one. I think that it could easily get to that. As far as Caspa goes, that's a tough one. I think that one is it at 1.5 billion market cap right now?
Yeah, I think so. It cooled off a bit. It was a little higher.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, I know. I actually liked that because I was able to buy some more around that point or 0.9 area.
Well, it's at 2.5 right now. I guess did it go up? It went up a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. So I hold that one. I probably hold quite a bit of that Caspa. I know. I just actually bought the what was that, the cold wallet where you can actually store it.
Yeah.
What is it called? Tangem. The Tangem wallet where you can store it. That's a really cool wallet. It's super easy to use. You just have to have it near your phone, and I guess it uses the NFC near field device on your phone to be able to approve those signatures and move any crypto around. So that's the other thing is when you get to the point where your portfolio is in the three figures, I think security becomes pretty key. So I've been kind of working on, okay, what am I doing here? Like how many wallets? Like where are you storing your seed phrases, and how secure how secure are you going to be if anything happens, right? Because if anything happens to me, I don't think my wife's going to figure out how to do anything. So you almost got to be as detailed as you can. Otherwise, that thing's just going to be dead in space. So, that's something else that I'm really trying to work on here and try to, read up about it and, how do you do it properly? So
I'm gonna have to put my wife in touch with Daniel Lee or someone trusted. Just say, these are the seed phrases. Go talk to like Daniel Lee or someone like that.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So I think right now I've got like 3 cold wallets just kind of spread out, on top of all the other hot wallets that you have. And, what's really cool is, what's the one that's tied to, MetaMask, which I use a lot. What is it called here?
It's a cold storage wallet.
Yeah, it's a cold storage wallet, but it actually ties to MetaMask. So you can actually use your MetaMask as a cold storage. So that one was, I think, Keystone. That's right. Keystone is one that I really like because it's probably the most secure wallet. It doesn't connect to the internet at all. It just kind of uses a camera on the Keystone device to be able to sign transactions back and forth. So I know a lot of people don't like MetaMask, but MetaMask I don't think is going away. Like that one's
no, and it's never been compromised.
Exactly. So now you're just adding another layer of security by using the Keystone wallet. So I've been really using that one quite a bit on top of the Tangem, on top of the Ledger as well. So
you keep the majority of your stuff offline?
The majority of the the majority of my big portfolio is offline. I still keep obviously a little bit of stuff on cold storage just because you want to make moves in and out without having to worry too much about the transactions and I don't carry my wallets around at all times either. So you got to be able to do that, and then you just transfer it over to your cold storage once you're DCA'd into Caspa, for example. Yeah, you transfer it over your cold storage and not worry about it. So, and then how you're storing your seed phrases, right? Like you're storing 1 copy, 2 copies. I saw a cool. I might do it actually. Is you buy these little metal plates and a little alphabet, and hammer little things. You just kind of hammer into the metal plate. So that's a cool way to store it because if fire happens, exactly right. So I might try that and see give that a shot. But I think people need to think about that because if the bull market runs the way that we all expect it to, these $10,000 portfolios are going to be hundreds of thousands. It would be a shame, and we're going to hear it a lot, I'm sure.
It's gonna be a lot of
These,
there are always stories.
There's going to be stories, right? And it's already, we saw it last cycle. It's going to be probably worse this cycle. So I think we need to preach that a little bit and kind of provide some guidance on that, if people need it, because I'd hate to see that. I mean, I don't know. It'd be pretty depressing to know that, you got there and now it's all gone because of a simple thing that you could have done that, might have cost you, $50 or whatever, these tangent wallets are, or treasures or whatever. So I think we just need to be precautious about it and really think about that. Not as talked about as much as we should, but something to think about for everybody.
Yeah, I have a lot of my stuff in MetaMask. I really need to get it offline completely. I did set up like 10 different wallets in MetaMask just in case. So my stuff is all spread out across different accounts in there.
Yeah.
Before you go, because I know you got to go soon, I want to be respectful of your time. Marcus has a question here about your plan for scaling out of alts.
Yeah, I mean, we're all talking about the bull run 2024 leading into 2025. It's going to be interesting because it's a different bull run, right? Like, we've got institutional players. There's reports that are coming out, very credible reports where, there's a lot of people that think, Bitcoin's going to be held by every country in the world, right? And what's that going to do to the bull cycle? I'm going to be looking at the charts, really. Like, I'm going to be looking at the charts and making decisions. I think I don't want to be too greedy. I mean, it happened last cycle where I got a little bit too greedy, and I should have sold when I said I should have sold. Like,
yeah,
you get to a certain point, you're like, it could probably run up a little bit more because the charts told me to sell, but I didn't, because you can't help but listen to people on Twitter sometimes, and it kind of messes with your head. So I think this time I'm going to probably start taking profit at certain levels. Like, there's certain targets that you might want to hit. Like, would you be okay if you made $1 million, right? What would you do? Would you go ahead and sell your entire bag? Or would it be okay maybe to sell a portion of your bag and, profit $250K and let the other run, and then just kind of target levels like that? So, that's just as important. I think that's something that, not a lot of people talk about but no one's going to call the top. That's one thing, is I'm not going to be upset if I don't get to the very top. But, I think, in our group, we do a pretty good job of looking at the market, looking at the weekly candles and looking at the monthly candles, and, okay, where are we going to close? Where are we? What does the price action tell us? So I think for the most part, that's going to play a big portion of it, as well as the economic narrative. So, because it's going to be a different bull cycle. It's not going to be like the ones that we've experienced in the past. So, but I don't know if I'm going to be selling my entire bag. I think I'm, if I'm lucky enough to become a millionaire this bull cycle, like we're all hoping to, I think I'm just going to start scaling out at certain thresholds.
Yeah, I'm going to start selling a little early, just for a safety net. First and foremost, I'm setting price targets. The thing is, it's like what you said, the euphoria is going to kick in, and people are going to start moving the goalpost. So when Solana gets to, and you're already seeing it with Solana, Solana gets to $250, you're going to see calls for $1,000. Mm-hmm. And so when it gets to $400 or $500, you're going to think that we're going to $1,000, and if I just hold on, I'll have even more money, and that's where that greed kicks in. So I do think it's important to DCA out the same way you DCA in, and just take some off as you go. And I'll be okay with not securing the whole bag, as long as I extract a bunch of money out of the market and achieve some of my financial goals during this cycle.
Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest thing in trading is to pay yourself.
Yeah,
because then it actually feels real. Yeah, right? It's no point of having unrealized gains if you're not pulling the money out. But pull it out, buy yourself something nice, and then you feel a whole lot better. You feel it's a different feeling. I remember in trading, that was one of the first things. is actually, you know, taking the money out, buying yourself a new laptop or a new screen or whatever it is, right? Then it's actually like, shit, this thing's actually real. So yeah, but it's also the hardest thing. So, you know, I like what you said, DCA in, DCA out, right? Like have a target in your mind, have a target on the chart, and, you know, have that alert saying when it goes off, and you just go ahead and do it.
Yeah, just do it. No one goes broke taking profits, right?
Yeah, and I'm always a fan, like even in trading, like you know, I always try not to sell everything. Like I'll probably leave 10% of a position open. Just I call it a runner, right? Leave a runner in there. I mean that runner goes, you know, that 10% goes 10x. That's pretty good gain, right? So, you know, if you don't sell your entire bag, leave, you know, 5 to 10% in there. Let a runner go and have a shoot for the moon target. If it gets there, great. If it doesn't, you know, have a set area where you're if it gets, you know, if it goes high, I'm going to sell there. If it goes up to this level low, then I'm going to sell there. That's a good strategy as well.
Yeah, for sure. All right. I think you said you had about an hour. We've been on for about an hour now. So I want to be respectful of your time. I want to thank you for coming on. You were great. This is your first time FA on YouTube. I think you did a great job, man.
Oh, thanks, man. It's a busy life. I got 2 kids. I got a job that I really like for a big company, a big developer. So we're all over the world, so different time frames, and obviously Christmas is and New Year's coming up. So it's a busy time, but yeah, I'm happy to do it.
Yeah, maybe we'll do it again sometime. Thanks again for coming on. Earn again is in Ron's Telegram group, Ron's Crypto Therapy. If you're interested, you can shoot me a DM. A lot of great information in there. Thanks to everyone in the chat for coming through. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe on your way out. I will be streaming again probably on Saturday. Always things to talk about. So thanks for coming on again, Earn, and everyone in the chat. Peace out. Catch you next time.
See you guys.